Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football. And at Deco, he has given quite an interesting interview. He's the director of Barcelona, of course, and he has given an interview that has quite sort of revealed what is the planning that Barcelona have done, what their plans are regarding this transfer window, and it is quite interesting. He has mentioned about a lot of players. He has talked about Araujo. He's talked about Stegen, he's talked about Jong, he's talked about Ansu Fati, he's talked about Nico Williams as well. So it was quite an interesting interview, if I'm being very honest with you. So we are going to talk about all of this, and think what I'm gonna share my views about that, because Barcelona, let's be very honest, I said it at the last at the end of the last season. The way that they won the title was an amazing achievement, because their squad was not up to par with Real Madrid. They really, on paper, they really should not have won the title, but they won because they were simply sensational throughout the season. And the fact is, they cannot really go ahead and spend the money yet again. And he emphasizes that on this interview, in this interview as well. So we'll start with Araujo. I mean, he has been under a lot of criticism for the last couple of seasons, especially last season. There were a lot of Barca fans who really did not like the way that he played. He was responsible for a couple of huge mistakes, and then the things that he said after the games, he felt a lot of criticism. And the fans today in this world, fans are quite reactionary. He was like the first name on the chopping block that everybody wanted him to leave, but the way that Deco has come out, that he says he received a lot of negative criticism. He shouldn't have been, which he shouldn't have, and we really want to keep Araujo. I mean, he has called him one of the best defenders in the world, which is quite debatable. I really don't think he's one of the best defenders in the world, but it feels like the club hierarchy and the management, they are really behind Araujo, and I don't think he's gonna leave. I think that sends a clear cut message to the fans and any club that were interested in Araujo, that we are not gonna sell him. So I think that sort of ends the speculation about Araujo leaving. Another one, the one that was quite interesting was the Ter Stegen one, because he's another one of those players that is rumored to leave Barcelona, and the fact that where he sort of says that I'm not involved in any of the tactics, I'm not involved in the decision making of which player is going to start, which player is not going to start, how many minutes a player is going to play. He said all of that is down to the manager. I only deal with the contracts. I don't care. I cannot say if a player is on a 4-year contract or 5-year contract. If the manager thinks that he's not able to, he's not ready to play in the starting 11, that's the manager's decision. So that is quite an interesting one, because it feels like there is quite a bit of tension between Ter Stegen and Hansi Flick, and I think sort of the management is going behind Hansi Flick, and it feels like Ter Stegen could be one of those players that is that might end up leaving Barcelona. And the fact that they are still going for Szczesny, and they want to bring him back to the club as well. So I think that is a very interesting one, and the fact that he says it, because about every other player, the way he spoke, that I'm gonna talk about other players as well, it felt like there was sort of a connection, and in the tone, the words that he chose for every other player, it was sort of there was a lot of respect and sort of a mutual understanding. But the way that he spoke about Ter Stegen, it was clearly like, I don't really care about him. It just felt like the sort of decision has been made by the management and the board, that they are really they are ready to let Ter Stegen go. Moving on, he talked about Ansu Fati. This deal is going to be completed. They're just waiting, in my opinion, for the July to come, because they want to make the announcement during the transfer window, because it has to do something with the finances and all that. He said he's just 23 years old. He's still a big talent, so it's better for him to go out and play. And it is, let's be very honest, it is the reality. I mean, he's just 23 years old. People talk about him like he's 30 years old, because we know him for a lot of for a number of years. He brought in to the Barcelona team when he was like 16, 17, just like Lamine Yamal. Unfortunately, he was not really able to live up to his expectations, but he's still a great player. He's still got a lot of time. So for him to leave Barcelona, it's going to be a big deal for him. And we already know the deal is done. They are just waiting for the deal to be announced. He talked about he talked about, then of course he talked about Nico Williams, the main question that every Barcelona fan wanted the answer to, and he said that they are in contact, of course. And the way that he said it, it feels like the deal from the for the player terms, I think a player side, they are ready to move, and I think the deal is agreed between the club, Barcelona, and Nico Williams' agent. I think the deal is done from that side. The problem is going to be, and in my opinion, the problem was always going to be the fee between Barcelona and Athletic Club, because they are not going to let him leave on a smaller fee, and that is going to be the interestingly how much Barcelona are going are willing to pay, and how much can they pay, because of course the finances are still not really good at Barcelona. They are still under a lot of debt. They are still facing all of those problems. I mean, let's be honest, they were in a problem in January as well, where we did know whether Dani Alves would be allowed to play the remainder of the season. So they are in still a lot of struggle is going on regarding their finances. So of course they need to sell players, they need to get players off their wage bill to to show a positive impact, so they can go ahead and try to bring Nico Williams in. I think this is going to be a long transfer saga, I'll be very honest. I think that is going to be one that is going to be dragged throughout the summer, Barcelona trying to get the funds, trying to get Athletic Club to get their demand below. And I think this is going to be interesting to see how Nico Williams react. I mean, he has been very loyal to Athletic Club, and he has been a real professional. I mean, there was big chance that he was going to leave last summer. A lot of Premier League clubs were interested in him as well, but he flat out refused. I mean, my club Arsenal, they really wanted him as well, but he said, I don't want to come. But this year it feels like he wants to leave Athletic Club, and he feels like Barcelona is the ideal destination. So whether his loyalty and maybe he will speak to the club that I have given you so many years, and I've played so well for you, and I stayed last year, so let me go this year. So it will be an interesting thing, and I think but I still think it is going to be a hard deal for Barcelona to pull it through, to be very honest with you. But again, as I said, it can go through, but it will be a big a massive deal to go through, and I think it is going to be a drag throughout the summer. We are going to talk about this quite a lot as the summer transfer window goes by. And finally, he talked about Frankie de Jong as well. I mean, that was a very interesting one as well, though, because he clearly said this is the version of de Jong that we really want. Because De Jong, of course, he has not performed that well since he has come in, but last season he was really good. He stepped up, he scored the goals, he he created a lot, and let's be very honest, I keep on saying that he's a great talent. He's one of the unfortunately there are some players that they come into a big club and they're not really able to perform. They're not able to put the world on fire when they come to a club. It takes some of the players time, and it feels like it finally is kicking it up for Frankie de Jong. The last season he was immense for Barcelona, and he scored, he was very important in the last part of the season. So it feels like things are going right for him, and it feels like the management and of course the board are behind him as well, and they want him to stay, and they think that he's going to be an important and crucial player for Barcelona next season. And I'll be very honest with you, to be very honest, they cannot really let go of him, because again that the point is that they really don't have that much money to let him go and try to bring in another player, and of course that new player might also not be up for it, and they may suffer yet again. So as I said, it was quite an interesting interview. I guess he talked about a lot of players that he thinks they are going to go. For me, personally, the main one, and that's quite interesting one, was the way he spoke about Ter Stegen, and the way he spoke about Nico Williams. He spoke about Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal's friendship. And then he said that he said it is a very good thing that they are friends, but to quote unquote, he said, we are not here to make friends, we are here to win. We are a club that doesn't rely on friendship, but we want to win. So that was quite an interesting quote as well, that it doesn't really matter if you are friends, the main thing is that we really want to win, and the players that are going to come here, they need to come with that mindset. So it was, as I said, quite an interesting interview. We'll see how many of these things actually happen over the summer, but yeah, quite a revealing interview from Deco, and it sort of summarizes what Barcelona's plan are for the summer. I already said at the end of last season that they're not going to splash the cash that much, but they have the plans, and it is for Barca fans, it sort of gives them a clear picture of what the hierarchy of the body is thinking. So yeah, that's it for me in this video. Let me know what you guys think about the entire scenario of this interview, the way he spoke about different players. What do you take out of this interview in the comment section below? Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers as quickly as possible, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.